would at least be increasing the overall financial inclusion level to 75% and minimizing this gender gap to 25%. It is right now 33%. We will be making extensive efforts so that this gap could be minimized. You see that despite this mega achievement, I would say a mega achievement, just from 16% to 67% in about a decade, still what we see, the overall financial access levels of the women are pretty low. Let me give and share some of the examples with you that still 52% of the women are not having any bank account or even wallet. So more than half of the adult women population is not having any bank accounts or even the mobile wallets. Over 3/4 of the unbanked adult population in the country are women. The overall unbanked, and of that, more than 67-68% is, rather 75% is the women that are financially excluded. And just 2% of the adult women are currently the bank borrowers. When I say bank borrowers, it includes the microfinance banks as well. This is due to both this state of affairs, that the women financial exclusion, I would say, is due to both the demand side as well as the supply side issues. On the demand side, what we see, the social constraints such as low mobility of our women, limited land and other assets ownership, and very low levels of financial literacy. All these demand side constraints limits their ability to access the formal financial services. On the supply side, what we see, that the banks and financial institutions, their products, their policies, their products, their rollout strategies, their practices have traditionally been male-centric. And I would not be blaming them for this, because the demand was predominantly coming from the male side, because on the demand side, there was relatively low demand on the, as far as the women entrepreneurs are concerned. So that's why they were more centric, the policies, products, strategies, and the branch setup that was also largely male-centric. Then the HR trainings and the orientations, as well as the culture and the working environment, have at best been neutral, not positively biased towards the women, so that the women financial inclusion could be increased. In this backdrop, in 2021, the central bank came up with a very important initiative, I believe. That initiative was the banking on equality. And the objective was that the overall policies, practices, products, and the culture could be positively biased towards facilitating the women community and the women to access the formal financial services. The policy explicitly acknowledges the unique barriers that women face and give directions. Here, let me say this. The subject is so important, so I'm not scared of using the word directions. That give directions to the banks to embed gender lens in their policies, products, and practices. But it's not a direction, it's a partnership, and it's a collaboration that we work together so that the objective could be achieved. And let me say this, what is the impact that we have been able to achieve in these last 3-4 years? We in fact it was formulated in 21 and it was practically launched in 2022 at the beginning. So in this period, over 13,000 women employees have been inducted in the banks. This represents 42% of the total new inductions that have been made by the banks. the share of women in the bank's HR has increased from 13% in 2021 to 17% at the moment, and the gender gap in financial inclusion has reduced by 6%. It used to be 39% when we started the banking inequality in 2021, and right now it is 33%. And very encouragingly, with the lead and with the kind of an aura that has been created with the banking on equality policy, the other policymakers and the regulatory bodies, they are such as SCCP, NADRA, and PTA, they have also started developing their own gender mainstreaming frameworks. However, we are cognizant of the fact that while we have been able to increase the financial inclusion levels and reduce the gender gap based on the account ownership. These numbers are based on the account ownership, but we still believe that the access to finance as a whole, across the country, across the gender, and particularly for the women, is still very low. That we need to work extensively in a collaborative manner so that this access to finance could be increased. And let me say this refinance code is coming at a very opportune time. And our very objective of showing our excitement towards adopting this code and becoming its signatory is this very issue that there is very low women financial inclusion. And we are extremely hopeful and positive that inshallah, with the overall patronage, ownership, and policies and procedures that, and the principles and the support that we will be having under this V-Finance Code, that would enable us to achieve the objective that we should be able to make a big dent in this overall issue of women financial exclusion. So we will be able to bring more and more women entrepreneurs particularly to access the financial services. I'm extremely happy to announce here that with central bank took that initiative that we are adopting, so far 20 banks have also voluntarily adopted and agreed to sign this V-Finance Code. I'm extremely hopeful, inshallah, that as we move forward, further banks and financial institutions and other stakeholders would be joining us in this drive, in this commitment towards achieving women financial inclusion. In the end, let me thank again all the stakeholders, including World Bank, including Women Financial Inclusion, Alliance of Women Financial Inclusion, and other stakeholders for their support and for their contribution in having this objective achieved. Thank you very much.